Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with a review of the Transformers Power of the Primes Leader Class Evolution Rodimus Prime. Yes, the second of the Leader Class figures of Wave 1 are here, and with this we do end up finishing the entirety of Wave 1 of the Power of the Primes reviews on this channel. Yay! But anyway, if you don't know, Hot Rod was the kid in the 86 movie that ended up taking the Matrix from Optimus Prime and became Rodimus Prime and became the leader of the Autobots for the third season of the show. So it's pretty fitting that he fits into the first toy line, the first wave of the leaders. Very interesting character, interesting replacement for Optimus Prime. And then the toy we'll talk about the toy certainly. I don't necessarily hate it, but I don't think it's the greatest thing ever. Let's just go with that for now, but you'll see what I'm talking about. But let's take a look at Rodimus Prime in his alternate mode. And you can see he is his space Winnebago form thing, whatever, that he had in the movie. Pretty big, pretty bulky, pretty square for the most part, pretty angular. As you can see, you got the what will be the Hot Rod car in the front, just kind of jammed in there into the rest of the trailer. You got some nice, looking at the more details on the car, you got some nice yellow headlights, you got orange hood with the nice flames going on with an Autobot symbol there. Translucent blue for the windscreen. Silver pipes going on there. There's a different set of silver pipes going up, leading into these fake flame effects. And as you can see, because the stickers are on the hinge, the stickers are already ruined. Thanks, Hasbro, for your genius placement of stickers. Oh, this one's actually not bad. This one's fine. I am genuinely surprised about that. That side looks perfectly fine. But the side obviously has taken major damage. You got some Autobot stickers there and there. You got a little bit yellow going on here. The top is all the burgundy kind of color. The sides are all burgundy color that are not the flame stickers. Sides are an interesting goldish yellow. You got black wheels going on. You got some black bits here and there. Kind of wish that was yellow. The same yellow just shows that like just stayed better. You got the little bit of the Hot Rod's spoiler sticking out there, and also a massive gap going through right there. Yeah. And then on the back you got these giant black sections with red bits that are going to be his combined form feet. Underneath you see legs, you see more legs, you see hands, and then you see Rodimus's faux chest for his Hot Rod robot mode. And you also see giant white fists sticking out the front of the trailer. Biggest complaint I have is, and it's an issue that will bother people with this toy, is that Hot Rod tends to be more on the red side, while Rodimus tends to be more on the burgundy maroon side. And if you didn't notice it already, look, you can just tell the greater color difference between the two toys. And while it makes sense, I wish they stuck with one, like in terms of how the characters have been portrayed in the past. I wish they stuck with one or the other shade, because admittedly this really looks like it's a car just jammed into this weird back trailer. If they were the same color, I'm sure this would blend a lot better. I'd be more pleased with this alternate mode, but now it just doesn't work all that well. Honestly, to me, Optimus's alt mode works better for me, and it's got so many kibble bits and panels all over the place that it shouldn't. So, like, it's more solid than Optimus's, certainly. You do have gaps here and there, which is unfortunate, and stickers that are in bad places, but it's really that bad color clashing between the Hot Rod body and the main part of the Rodimus body that unfortunately doesn't make this work all that well for me. Really unfortunate. He does have 6 wheels. They all do roll. I do seem to have a problem with getting all 6 of the wheels to be on the ground at the same time. And I'm not exactly sure if that's a fault of me transforming it incorrectly or something to do with the toy itself, I really cannot tell at all. I feel like it's just I feel like it's more of an issue, but toy, it's mainly this back wheel that just like a hair off the ground. The other side is fine. I don't know why. And then this one is less than a hair than the back wheel, than this back wheel is, but this front wheel also doesn't tend to like to roll on the ground perfectly. I really don't know what I'm doing. What's up with that? But that's a note. And for accessories, he does come with 2 guns. They will combine in his Rodimus Prime form to be his main weapon. They're able to store in the alternate mode with these 5mm posts back here, like so. And like so. Unfortunately, you are not able to have them in the combined form and stored on the vehicle mode. They have to be in their individual weapon forms, because if you try to combine them, the 5mm peg is going to bump in the roof, and it's just not going to work. On top of that, you also have 2 Prime Master pegs right there that allow any Prime Master or Titan Master figure to just stand on top of Rodimus's form. Come on, Vector Prime, where's your head? Why is your head backwards? There you go. There you are. Yeah, you got Primes standing on Rodimus. Honest, and then that's really it for the features for this form. So let's get into some size comparisons. So here he is next to the Legends class Bumblebee, and I'm gonna have to raise the camera up a fair bit so you can see how that scales. There he is next to Chrome Dome. You can see how that scales. Voyager class Megatron. You can see how that scales. And Leader class 6-Shot. And you can see how that scales. Yeah, that's really it for the Rodimus mode. So let's get him into the hot rod form. It's going to be pretty simple to do that. We're going to move these pipes out of the way. These exhaust pipes out of the way. And then we're going to fold these panels back, like so. Like so. And then you can see Rodimus is kind of in there awkwardly. And there's 2 tabs that on the back of the car that tab into what will become the backs of his Rodimus Prime knees. There, and there, there. And then also a tab on the roof of his car that tabs into this extra yellow bit right here. So you just pull all of that apart and then put it together. You honestly go into the roof one a bit, and then you can just slide, just to show this off since this is a little funky to do, get the roof one in, and then the back ones will just slide into place. Very simple. So then we can put that off to the side, and then we go complete Hot Rod's car mode by folding these bits out and then tapping them into the back. And there you have Hot Rod in his car mode. And it's a very sleek, very boxy, but still somehow sleek car mode. Honestly, this makes me feel like I'm holding the G1 toy. It's just that boxy. It's like, how can they have made a Rodimus this boxy in the modern day? And this large as well. This is also very large. Quick size comparison before we get too far in. This is the Titans Return Hot Rod. Just to show that off in this transform. So as you can see, the differences going on here in the car modes. He's certainly larger than the Titans Return Hot Rod toy, and the Titans Return Hot Rod also is a bit more angular than Rodimus, than Power of the Prime's Hot Rod is, but just showing that off. So getting into more of the details, you saw most of the front pretty much in the alternate mode, the translucent blue hood. You can see there's a little bit of paint going on there. That's much more of the burgundy that matches the trailer. There's a little bit of burgundy there, since that's going to end up being important when we get to the transformation. The silver pipes fold a bit further back on the car mode. You got this nice spoiler there with some nice details going on. And then you just got the back, which is just
leg bits and pieces. And you can see the legs, hands. You basically see how this hot rod's going to transform, and then just this has to get to the top. We're pretty much there. We're pretty much in his robot mode. Unfortunately, this form has absolutely no interactivity with any of the Prime Masters or Tie-In Masters, or his accessories, well, his weapon accessories. He does come with a matrix. I'll get to that because I have that currently stored in the Rodimus trailer, so I just wanted to show how that works once we get, I just wanted to show how that would be stored. So, unfortunately, I am not able to access it. It's actually, yeah, that one's actually in the trailer, not actually in Hot Rod himself, which, I don't know, that's a little weird, but how the transformation works, it makes sense. So, I'm okay with that. There's nothing really else to say. He rolls, and for another round of size comparisons, here he is next to Legends Class Bumblebee. You can see how that scales. Deluxe Class Chrome Dome. You can see how that scales. Voyager Class Megatron. You can see how that scales. He's pretty much a Voyager. Pretty much Voyager in size in the alt mode. And then Leader Class 6-Shot. And you can see that scale there. Alright, so now that's all there's to say on Hot Rod's car mode, so let's roll right along to his robot mode. So we're gonna come back here and we're gonna fold these panels back up on that double hinge, and they're just gonna tab into those bits right there. Fold them back up. Then we're gonna detach the arms from the side. There's this tab right here that goes into a slot right there. Yeah, that tab into that slot. Do the same on the other side. Untab that. Then we're gonna come down here. We're flipping this entire section down. Hi, Rodimus Prime. There's your head. And then we're gonna come around, and we're actually gonna pull that section up, rotate it around, fold it back down, collapse it down, and there is Hot Rod's head. We're gonna come back here. We're gonna untab the legs from the panel. There's a double tabbing system. You do first have to tab these tabs into the legs right there, and then you can get these slots to fit those tabs up there. That is a nice double tabbing feature. And then we're gonna rotate this entire section around. There is a tiny slot right there that will fit a tiny tab right there. And that tabs onto the back to lock that in securely. Then we'll just come down here, fold the feet out, collapse those panels in, open the panel, fold the feet out, collapse the panel in, and there you have Hot Rod in his robot mode. And he feels a lot more like Rodimus to me in this form still than Hot Rod. I don't know. He's got the angles and the, I don't know. He still has a very Rodimus Prime vibe, even though he is Hot Rod. I don't know. Maybe it's just the angles in the modern day don't make him look as young as he used to. He probably, in terms of his appearance, he's probably as young in this form as Judd Nelson makes him sound in the Titans Return cartoon, in fairness. So, but anyway, we do have taken a closer look at Hot Rod here. We got his helmet. His head is completely red. You got a little bit of silver on the crest there, white paint on the face, and some nice little blue eyes. You got the Autobot chest right there, which completely mimics what was on his roof, even to the painted details is just shaped differently. And the same and then Autobot logo right there. A little bit of white there and there. Some stickers right there replicating details from his original toy. Some stickers there replicating details from his original toy. His crotch is just this panel right here. You got some orange legs going on. The thighs are pretty much black in the front with that sticker, and then the back is red. And solid black feet. And the arms are predominantly red. You got a wheel going on. A little bit of that orange picking it out, as well as the silver pipes that become part of his forearms. For his articulation, his head can only rotate that far and nothing else can be done with that. His arms can rotate a full 360 degrees on a ball joint, able to bend that far out thanks to using the hinge, but that's not all that far. Elbow has a double bend, so it's able to get 180 degrees of bend there at the elbow. There is a ball joint at the elbow, at the one elbow, so it does allow for bicep swivel. Nothing at the wrists, surprisingly enough. Literally nothing. It's just straight up molded in there. This panel is able to move forward, so as you can get some more forward articulation on the legs. So, but because of things, they're only able to really bend that far forward and having them be out at the angle, just because of that bit right there. So it can only bend that far forward and that far back because of the car on the backpack. But they are able to bend that far out. He's able to kick very far out to the side. He does have a thigh swivel, basically knee swivel, allowing for a 360 degree rotation there. Slightly under 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and the foot is able to pivot back that far and forward that far. So you do get some nice ankle tilt out of him. But yeah, definitely need to mention those arms are weird. Those arms are weirdly proportioned on him. They're like so close to the shoulders and so skinny too. I don't know. I don't care for it. I don't really care for those shoulders all that much. He is able to hold his 2 weapons in his hands, 5mm posts all around. Yep, he's got those. They can't store anywhere else on him, unfortunately. And he has no other interaction with Time Masters or Prime Masters or what have you, besides using the weapons. Yeah, just pretty awkward robot mode. And now let's get into some robot mode size comparisons for Hot Rod. One thing I forgot to mention at all during this review is the collector's card. Just bring it up here while I can. It has a nice piece of artwork of Rodimus Prime on there, Power of the Primes, Rodimus Prime Autobot logo. This one is Solus Rodimus, and it's instead of a Solus Rodimus, it's actually Rodimus Solus. The leader ones actually have the Prime character first, the toy first before the actual Prime, and this one specifically allows him to craft an armor of crafts an indestructible armor of fire, which is pretty cool. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned this because people are interested in these cards. I can't remember if I did one for the Alchemist review. I'll have to double check that. It was 2 weeks ago, okay? But yeah, that's the card. Now back to your regularly scheduled review. Here he is next to Legends class Bumblebee. And you can see Bumblebee basically comes up to Hot Rod's waist. Here he is next to Deluxe Class Chrome Dome, who is he's a completely full head taller than Chrome Dome is. We've then got Voyager Class Megatron, and you can see how he looks next to him. And Megatron's a full head taller than Hot Rod is, about the same head height as Orion Pax was. Leader Class 6 shot now, and Hot Rod comes right up to that, like the difference between the chest and like the stomach area of 6 shot. Quick comparison with the channel's mascots, Soundwave and Wheeljack. So you can see how he looks next to them. And a quick extra comparison with the Titan's Return, Hot Rod. He's only a little bit taller than TR Hot Rod though. Though granted, that Hot Rod was always a pretty tall toy. Their shoulders are actually pretty much the same height, and then he's only like half a head taller. Though his back crest is better placed so that can be seen as opposed to Hot Rod's, which is why that toy kind of like goes down a little bit. Still a great toy, it's just the wings need to be in a better position for him. But I do think I kind of like that look to him better than that one, in my opinion, I will say. But that's all there is to say on Hot Rod. So now let's get him combined into Rodimus Prime. So he's funky. He's a funky boy to transform. Let's just say with that. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold that down, rotate the head around, and collapse that back in. We don't need his head sticking out anymore. Then we're going to fold reattach the arms as if we were going into vehicle mode, like so. Just tab them back into place. But we're going to fold the arms up into and completely bend them in at a 180 degree angle, like so. And then we will untab this section, rotate it back around like so, and collapse it like so, like such. At this point, we're gonna split them in half. You gotta remember where the split is. Yeah. These pegs will tab into those slots right there to lock all of that in, and then you untab those to allow the rest of the transformation to happen. But while you're doing that, you are going to need to spread the legs out to the side like so. Then you just finish that up, and then we're gonna come over here, open these panels, fold the feet in, and then rotate the feet into that exact position. Do the same on the other side. Open that panel, fold the foot in, hold the upper leg in place while we rotate the lower leg into its Rodimus Prime position. And that's Hot Rod transformed into Rodimus Prime's torso. It's a way to do it. His arms are the upper arm, his shoulders are his legs, and he's got shoulder pads, shoulder pads that are his lower legs. Okay. Well, we'll put him off to the side for now. We'll lower the camera a little bit, and then we'll get working on the rest of the trailer. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a bit of parts forming. Apologies to you viewers who may be offended by parts forming, but this toy does have a bit of parts forming. So this whole section just pulls out and it just slides in. It doesn't tab or anything. It just holds in there by friction pretty much. That's that. And then you'll come here, you'll split the arms, well, what will become the arms, and then fold these panels back. Fold this panel back. There you got Rodimus Prime's arms. Those can go off to the side for now. Okay, we're gonna come back here. I'm gonna pull the foot out. We're gonna untap the foot. There's a tab right there that goes into a slot. Right there on the foot. That tab into that slot. Same on that side. And we can go ahead and pull the heel spurs out while we're at it, since nothing else is gonna get in the way at this point. And then we're gonna come and we're gonna untab the legs, the black lower legs from this section. It's gonna be these tabs, that tab right there, that's gonna go into that slot right there, right next to that yellow, that golden painted yellow section. And we're gonna come over here, we're gonna split these panels like so and just open them up because we're gonna need that clearance to get this transformed. And then we'll come here, we'll take these holes and they're gonna go into those, what were the 5mm holes on the roof, fold that up and around like so on this double hinge right here. Then we can go bend that up at the waist, collapse these panels back down, rotate this yellow section down and around. Whoops, that was off camera completely. This section is up here. We're just rotating that down and around. And then we'll split the legs and flip the waist piece down. And there you see that's where the matrix stores. And that's how it stores in the truck mode. We'll talk more about the matrix once we finish combining him. But we'll take Rodimus here. We'll attach the arms. There's a series of tabs there that will fit into those, that will hold these, well, slots that will hold these tabs, I should say. And we just plug them in and just plug them in like so. And this whole thing will just slide on top. The backpack's gonna slide in like so, and that's all gonna lock. This whole backpack will lock into place along the grooves right there. And then you can help lock everything in by using these grooves on the arms to fit into grooves that are hidden back there. I can't actually see them, but they're gonna fit, and it's clearly gonna like click, and you will hear it. And then this will also tab down on something. I'm not positive what, but But there you have Rodimus Prime in his robot mode. And I will say, just him standing there, he looks pretty good. For the most part. He does have color problems. Namely, the legs and the arms not matching. It's very freaking blatant. I don't know why. The chest does not look as bad in this configuration, but everything else does. And maybe it's because of how the head works. Because the head uses the hot rod red colors as opposed to the Rodimus Prime burgundy colors, which is interesting, to say the least. The colors are off, and standing there, he looks good. And then we get to moving him, and the biggest problem, I'll get over this more articulation, is how the arms work. He just can't do any side posing. It just looks terrible. It just looks terrible. But before we really get into that, I'm gonna need to raise the camera a little bit. Let's get this going. Let's get some more light on the situation. We have a pretty nice head sculpt. It's basically a larger of the Hot Rod sculpt, except more wrinkled lines on his face to make him look older, even though he felt pretty old as Hot Rod for whatever reason. Very red helmet, silver crest on the head, white face, blue eyes. Again, some lines to make him feel older. It's the car mode front on his chest, so that's pretty standard. You saw that already. You got the back of the legs with some stickers there that I never pointed out before on the shoulders. And then the burgundy arms that has some of that gold yellow paint, and 2 white paint for the fists, and then the smokestack pipes, the exhaust pipes on the sides. You got a burgundy crotch plate, gold yellow upper legs, very large black lower legs, couple of stickers on the legs there and there. Feet predominantly black, sides predominantly black, red heel spur, I don't know. Nah, it's in the back. And then there's the backpack, pretty much. Yeah. Arms are pretty clean. Backpack, you do have a bit of an awkward backpack, I will say that. Back into talking articulation. His head cannot rotate a full 360. It's got the same exact articulation as Hot Rod's head, actually. The shoulders, because they're the hips, the shoulder joints are the hips, they bend up here, so it's like behind his head. And then the arms aren't actually able to bend outwards at all because of how the knees work in conjunction with that. Now, I don't know why they weren't able to do an extra joint to be able to get the arms to bend outwards, at the very least at a 45-degree angle, so we could avoid using that joint if we wanted to, but you can't. So, pretty awkward to try to get him to bend out to the side. That's as far outward as he's going to go, and it's all through the shoulder. It's through like behind the neck rather than the actual shoulder itself. But the actual shoulder itself can rotate a full 360 degrees. It does have a little bit of inward and outward movement going on there. There is a slightly greater than 90 degree elbow bend, as well as a bicep swivel, though the kibble on the arm can get in the way of that, so you do have to move things. And the fists on Rodimus do in fact rotate. That was off camera. They do in fact rotate, so you do have wrist articulation there. The fist is completely molded, so there's nothing, no matrix holding for Rodimus Prime as well, just like Optimus. Legs, there is another skirt panel on Rodimus that folds forward to allow him to bend his legs that far forward. Only that far back before we run into the backpack. He is able to bend them out only that far to the side because you got these little bits right here hindering him a bit. 360 degrees of rotation at the thigh. Knee, if you get it in the way, so it's not in the way of the trailer. 90 degrees of bend at the knee. And then the feet have a very nice ankle tilt as well as forward and backward movement. So you can get his feet into some very solid poses, very wide, stable poses. Unfortunately, you really can't do a whole lot with the arms. Like, you can do some stuff, but you can't do a whole lot before we get into shoulders coming from behind the head that motions. This is going to be fun to take pictures of later, honestly. But yeah, for his accessories, he is able to hold his gun, his combined gun, and this is the combined form of the gun, and it fits into both of his fists, like so. I will note, most noticeably on this one, because this is the one I mainly put into the fist, there is a bit of white paint that has rubbed off on the post. So it's presumably white paint on the inside of the fist. So just caution, it doesn't seem the paint on the fists is really that great if it's rubbing off that easily. Just a warning. And then now we can talk about his other accessory, his Matrix of Leadership. To access it, you are pretty much going to have to untab the chests portion, like just the front sections of the chest, not the entirety of the chest, but like, well, the hot rod section, but like all the front of the chest has to unlock. And then you can come in here and pull out the Matrix. It actually stores it in a lot easier, a lot easier than Optimus's did. And it does, even though he had the same Matrix as Optimus, it's nice that they like gave him a different Matrix, so it's not like redundant to have the same exact one. This one uses a bit of a dark blue plastic, has a yellow border, and a silver painted Matrix core, which is very nice. And the Matrix core itself is able to detach and interact with a few different things. It is able to interact with Deluxe class Prime armor. It's able to interact with Voyager class Prime armor. It is able to interact with where'd it go? Oh, that's what fell. It is able to interact with Optimus's Matrix, and here's just another quick comparison. I'll put that back on. Just so, as you can see, the two matrices side by side, they are the exact same tooling, pretty much, molding, etc. So they'll fit into each other's compartments, as well as into each other's matrix holders. Just to show that off. Certainly not as exciting looking as the orange one, but he is able to do that, as well as things being able to be inserted into these matrix holders, such as the Voyager's Enigmas of Combination, the Titan Masters, or Prime Masters, and just for fun, since we got it out here, here is a Titan Master, Hot Rod's Titan Master, that can plug in there and snuggle on in there. It's creepy. That's very creepy. But now that's really harder to get a grip of to get it out of there, I will say. Yeah. And there is absolutely no way for Hot Rod to actually, or Rodimus to actually hold the Matrix except in his Matrix compartment. So we're just gonna shove that on back inside there and close everything up. Yeah, that's pretty much all there's to say on Rodimus Prime. So now let's get into some size comparisons, shall we? Just let me get the Hot Rod's head back on him. This is not good because Hot Rod's head is always a pain. There we are. All right, Legends class Bumblebee. Here we are. And Bumblebee, as you can see, comes up to Rodimus's knee, pretty much. We got Deluxe class Chrome Dome, and it comes pretty much up to Rodimus Prime's waist. We got Voyager class Megatron, and his head pretty much comes up to the top of Rodimus's Autobot symbol. We've got Leader class Six Shot, and Hot Rod's a little bit taller than he is at the head, just probably by like hairs, if not nothing is what I was trying to say with that sentence. Here he is with the channel's mascots. Soundwave and Wheeljack. Your arm is so loose, Wheeljack. What happened to it? What happened to that arm? But you can see how he looks next to them. We got a quick comparison with Tyrant's Return Hot Rod. Just so as you can see how the Tyrant's Return toy looks next to the Power of the Primes toy. And as an extra comparison, here he is with Optimus Prime from the same wave, just to see how the two leaders work together. Optimus's ankles are certainly looser than Rodimus's, so Rodimus does stand a bit better. He ends up being a little bit taller, feels a little bulkier than Optimus does, surprisingly. But I still definitely like Optimus so much better. He's so much better. Yeah, overall, I very much appreciate the effort they went into this toy. It's this very similar effort they put into Optimus Prime. However, I feel it comes off not as well as Optimus. I think a big thing of it for me would have been fixed if they went with either the red or the burgundy and not both, just to make the two forms just better work together, because again, the colors are so off when you have the combined forms, and for both Rodimus Prime vehicle and Rodimus Prime robot modes, it's just so off. The transformation is weird, but it's what they had to do, though I definitely would have appreciated it if they did something different with the shoulders, fix the shoulders and the colors. This toy would be so much better, so much better. Everything else is the minor nitpicks, the gaps in the ultimate minor nitpick. Pipes being weird, minor nitpick. Maybe the robot, like the Hot Rod form, could have been better as well, but I think if the Rodimus Prime form and the colors as well, especially like the Rodimus Prime shoulders and the colors were better, I think I'd be able to let go the complaints I had with the Hot Rod. Like, it's fine, the arms are just weird, but I can understand it as needing to accommodate the specific transformation of this toy. Orion Pax certainly is not the one that suffers. Hot Rod kind of suffers. Like, for Optimus, the robot, not the robot, the vehicle was the one that suffered the most. Orion Pax had to suffer because the backpack, and Optimus Prime has to suffer with extra panels, but those are minor and able to be put out of the way. Rodimus Prime, all of his modes suffer because of limitations they put onto getting this toy to work. It's not one form that suffers specifically, and I have two other amazing forms. It's all the modes carry the burden, so they carry the burdens of the limitations of needing to be 4 toys basically in one. Well, 4 forms basically: the Hot Rod car, the Hot Rod toy, Hot Rod body, the Rodimus car, and the Rodimus body. It's not as good as it could have been, with a few minor differences. It's still better. It's still better off than the Voyagers of this toy, of this first wave, I will certainly say. But overall, Optimus is the better candidate. I still like this toy. It's just, God darn it, those shoulders and that paint, it does not do him many favors, unfortunately. But that is my opinion. You have different opinions. It's up to you. I'm just here to make my own judgments of the toy if you want to listen to them. But that is all I have to say on Rodimus Prime. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, please consider donating on my Patreon page to help support the channel. All the links will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack signing off.